Welcome to this episode of the Dirt Diaries. I'm at a decommissioned campground. I'm the only person here. I'm here by special permission. The rangers have graciously allowed me to use this site, and I will never abuse it. They know me and trust me, and so yeah, I have special permission from the district superintendent. Tonight I'm going to have a local Bigfoot story that I don't think has been talked about much, if at all, as well as a story from local history, and that's coming up. Testing out the new pop-up tent. Well, I'm not crazy about that little vestibule floor. I think it's kind of a pain. I should have put it closer to the entrance, but I don't know. Anyway, next time I'm just going to lay down a flat tarp. So, design flaw. You can trip over it coming in, coming out. Yeah, a little bit lethal there. But anyway, this is a little tour of my tent. I'll give you a tour of the inside. It is pretty roomy. It is pretty roomy inside. Don't judge me. I do smoke, and I'm not really interested in apologizing to you for it. This is my new camping chair. This was actually made for hunters, but I absolutely love it. It's great for camping. It's got little telescoping feet. I think that's what you call it. They rotate to fit the stability of the ground. So if it's unstable on one end, it'll automatically shift. It's really cool. And it's very comfortable. For someone who's short and doesn't fit the standard camp chairs very well, this is a great answer. The measurements make it really comfortable for someone who is short, but it's still also really wide. So you get room to shift around. And my little aluminum table, I didn't put the legs on it because who needs them? Yeah, love it. Testing out my new coffee maker from GSI. It clips on, it clips on to the cup, like so, right? There we go. Clips onto the cup, and it's a mesh nylon strainer, and we're going to just pour the water directly into the cup, and it drips your coffee. Yeah, I'm not too crazy about it, but it's nicer than the silicone one that I usually use, the pop-up silicone, because that one, although it goes flat, packs flat, the wind can blow it off the top of your cup. So yeah, I've gone to this. And I like it. I like it. It's great. You can get it from Amazon. It's made by GSI. Tour of the inside of my nightcat tent. There is the toilet. Let's get that out of the way. As you can see, my cot fits pretty well. There's about an inch or two on either end, or on both ends, so it's not stressing the walls of the tent. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but hey, can't have everything. My side table. So this is everything I need for the night. My wrist brace. There is bear spray and an air horn. My Kindle so I can read at night. Bottle of water. Yep. Hope you like the inside. That's it for the tour. So I'm always telling you about what I like, but here's a couple things I can't stand. Okay, these cups are just awful. Okay, they don't keep your stuff hot. They're convenient because they pack down. The handles fold in. Yeah, they're cute. Guess what? They don't work, okay? So I'm going to be getting another cup here pretty soon. I lost my favorite one. Not sure where it went, but anyway, I don't like those cups. They just don't work. Base Camp soap. I really don't like that soap. It doesn't lather well. It's really for hunters who want to strip everything, strip the scent off of themselves, their hair, any of their gear. It's fine for them, but for us who are camping in tents or, car camping, whatever it is you do, this is not the stuff. Okay, just don't use it. Just my opinion. All right, so moving on to things I love. Okay, that was, 1 minute and 5 seconds of negativity. Quick pro tip. These are really useful. They're buckets from the dollar store. You can use them to wash up dishes or wash up yourself, whatever it is you do. But they have a tendency to fly away in the wind, so to keep that from happening, you take a nice good-sized rock, put it inside a Ziploc bag, drop it down in the bottom. No more flying away. Just a quick tip. I talked earlier about two products that I really don't like because honesty is important. So yeah, it was 1 minute of negativity. So here's a little short snippet of things I absolutely love. You've heard me talk about Sawyer spray. It's the gold standard, takes life and hope into developing countries like Mozambique to combat Zika virus and dengue fever. Here in the United States, it protects you against Lyme disease by repelling ticks. That's very important. It also comes in a lotion form for your body. I don't use it on my face, but of course, everyone has their own preferences. But it's very effective. It provides up to 14 hours, possibly a little more, of protection from insects crawling on your skin, which if you're like me, I'm bug phobic anyway, but I really don't want Lyme disease. The other thing I absolutely love is made by a company called Joseon. It's called The Beauty of Joseon. It is a Korean company that makes this wonderful SPF of 50 sunscreen. It's made in Korea. It's 100% environmentally safe and cruelty-free. So no animal testing. It's even reef safe, even though it doesn't have third-party certifications. The ingredients are verified by scientists to be 100% safe for the environment, and they don't test on animals. It's also an independent company, so it's not owned by some, nameless conglomerate that does conduct animal testing. So absolutely love this. It's the best I have ever found. 50 SPF, and I think they have lower if that's what you need, but I have skin cancer in my family, so this is like the bomb for me. Yeah, absolutely love it. Some Yahoo brought their dirt bikes out here, and they're racing them up and down the access road a little ways away. But it means I have to wait for quiet moments to do these clips. In any case, in between hating these people, I'm doing these clips for you. This is something else I absolutely love, and it's a cream soda that is just the best I've ever had, and it's made by a company called Sprecher. Now, Sprecher in German means speaker or multiple speakers. I do speak German, so it was really a surprise to find it. It's made by a family-owned company out of Wisconsin. So if you thought Wisconsin was just for cheese, yeah, no. They should be famous for their cream soda. It is fantastic. It's made with natural honey, and it's just really good. So I found it at the dollar store. It was $1.50 for each bottle, but even then, I was ready to spring for it for that reason. It's just that good. So if you find it at the store, snap it up. It's fantastic. Okay, another quick tip. If you have one of these for your windshield of your car, you can use it to wrap your cooler to keep your ice cold and from melting. It won't last forever, but of course it helps, right? So anything that helps is a good thing. Wrap it around your cooler. It'll keep your drinks and everything nice and cold, and you'll be much happier. I'm glad you have an attention span that's longer than 3 seconds, just so I can sit here with you, stare at this beautiful view, and tell you what happened about half an hour ago. Now, they say that if there's no pictures or video that it didn't happen, but it did happen. So I'm laying here in my chair. I'm enjoying a wine cooler from 7-Up and a little bit of red wine. And it's just a beautiful afternoon. And I'm lazy and dozing in my chair, listening to the breeze and, just deep breathing, all very zen. And suddenly there was something on my foot. I jumped up, I looked. It was a chipmunk hugging my foot. It really happened. It truly did. It was the cutest thing I ever saw. When I woke up and, jerked a little bit, he looked at me like, oh my God, she's awake. He let go and he ran straight across the campground as fast as he could. I hope he comes back. Cutest little thing I ever saw. Chipmunk hugged my foot. I can cross that off my bucket list now. Time for another quick tip. Okay, you have a dirty dish, right? What you do, before you leave home, you're going to cut a piece of loofah from an unused bath thing, and you're going to bring it along and you're going to use it to scrub your dishes. 100% environmentally friendly. Works great. Gets all the gunk and dirt off. Yeah. There you have it. A loofah. Cooking dinner. It's actually halfway done, and I'm going to show you what we're having. We're having corned beef and eggs. Really simple. So what you do is you take 1 small can of corned beef hash and you pre-cook it on the fire on your little camp stove. And then you make a little crater in the middle, add your egg, and then cover it for a few minutes while the egg cooks. So it's going to be really great. And I'll show you when it's done. Dinner's ready. So let's see what we've got going on here. I'm going to turn off the stove. Safety first. There's our beautiful egg. Protein becomes very important when you're out camping. I like a little lemon pepper on mine. So there's that. Now the trick is getting it from the pan into my bowl. I don't want to let you watch that. So bon appetit. Guten Abend. So tonight's story is a Bigfoot story, and as far as I know, it's never been told before to the public. So this actually happened to my Aunt Tillie's friend, and her name was Rebecca. And I'm sitting right now in the northern tip of the Sierra Nevada mountain range on the Nevada side. So anyway, about 15 miles from here, there was a town back in the 1800s. It started in 1862, and it was built around gold mining. A lot of people came here wanting to strike it rich, and this little shanty town of gold miners sprang up, as many of them did, overnight. And I'm just going to make up a name for the town because I don't want people traipsing there. There's literally nothing left of it, so there's nothing to see except for one thing, and you'll understand when I'm done. Anyway, so there's this town called Garrett, and Garrett, like I said, sprung up during the gold rush, and so it was technically on the California side of the border, but back then, the Nevada territory, all of that, it was a very fluid border, right? So in these mountains, a lot of really strange things do happen. People tend to be very tight-lipped about Bigfoot. A lot of people talk about it nowadays, but even today in this area, a lot of people see Bigfoot, but they don't really talk about it, and then much less publicly, because like most people, they want to keep their job, right? So there's a lot of Bigfoot stories that float around here in hushed whispers, and I pass no judgment either way. I'm a very non-judgmental person, but for all of these people to have seen something's going on, and for my own Aunt Tillie to have her own Bigfoot story from her childhood, and I believe her, definitely believe her. There's something going on. So anyway, there was this town called Garrett, and Garrett had, like I said, sprung up overnight, and the people there, it was a town of about 200 to 300 people, and most of them were single people, but some had families. There were some people with families, young families, and they were seeking their fortune. Well, in 1879, I believe, 1879, there was a big fire. And it wasn't like today where you could just pick up a phone and dial 911 for a wildfire. I mean, people depended upon each other for survival in just about every situation. And so really the town was completely decimated. There were very few people left after the fire. About 200 people died in this fire. It just consumed everything in its path. And so the town of Garrett, literally overnight, was gone just as quickly as it had begun. And so anyway, the townspeople the people who were left had to wait for help to arrive from other communities, in the outlying areas, to send enough wagons and horses to transport the bodies to another place for a proper burial, and for enough people to help dig those graves. And so they waited, and the bodies were stacked, and many of them just had no chance at all at surviving this fire. So anyway, my Aunt Tillie's friend, Rebecca, was sort of traipsing through here with her children. Her husband was at war, was away, off at the war, World War II. This happened in 1943, I believe, 1942, 1943. And in those days, everybody was poor. It was during the war. Everybody's on rations, So she would take her children, and she would, work her way through the Sierra Nevada mountain range. One place she was a cook, and she'd work for several days for literally singing for her supper, and for a little salary, a little money, and then she'd move, to the next place. Well, she and her children were here in this area, and they were out in the forest just enjoying themselves, enjoying a beautiful day, and they stumbled upon a forgotten cemetery for this town of Garrett. It's all that remains of this town. And she was just astonished. And they started looking at all of the graves, and she said, and she told my Aunt Tillie, there were at least 25 graves there, and they were all children. All of them. Every single one of them. And, later research determines that these were children who had died in that fire in the town of Garrett, and not one of them was over 12 years old. It's really sad. And so I know exactly where this cemetery is, and I had a moral dilemma today about whether or not I should film it. I did go over there today, but I decided in the end not to film it because it should not be a tourist attraction. In any case, her story is that she was there with her children, and she looks up and she sees Bigfoot coming through the bushes, through the trees, to this cemetery. And she just couldn't believe what she was seeing. And she said it was 8.5 to 10 feet tall. She was very tall herself, according to Aunt Tillie, so it's kind of hard to gauge the size of what she was seeing. She said it was covered in hair. It had a human face, but completely covered in hair. And it was 7.5 to 10 feet tall. I mean, to me, that sounds a lot like Bigfoot, don't you think? So she said it was enormous, just absolutely enormous, as wide as 3 trees. And so she's standing there open-mouthed with her children. The kids are screaming. They're hiding behind her, and this being, this creature, didn't seem afraid of her, didn't seem violent, didn't seem like it was going to attack her or her children. So she was just standing there staring at this creature, and it looked her in the eye, and she sensed that it was intelligent, and so she just stood there hoping it would just go away. That's something I would do. Like, just hope it goes away. So she said that it had beautiful brown eyes, that they were really large and they were brown, and they kind of shone in the sun, she said. That's what she said to Tillie. And she said it had kind of a gentle face, and she said it leaned down, sort of crouched down in front of one of the graves, and it put little pebbles on the headstone. And I thought, when I heard this, I thought, oh my gosh, I've heard other people talk about the pebbles, the little tiny rocks, and apparently those are like gifts from Bigfoot, that Bigfoot has been known to do this. Well, I hear the story from my Aunt Tillie, who has now passed, by the way. She's passed on to paradise. And so anyway, she said, Rebecca tells Aunt Tillie that he put stones all on the top of the gravestone and all around the bottom of it, where the earth, onto the earth where, the headstone was planted. And there's very few headstones there now, by the way. All of them have been, raided by idiots and worn away by the weather. But finally she said that it stood up, it looked at her and kind of ducked its head, and looked away from her, broke eye contact, and just walked off into the trees. And that's her Bigfoot story. And according to her, it was a gentle creature, that it had gentle face, gentle expression, and beautiful brown eyes. But it was very massive. It was very, very large. And her children finally stopped screaming during this encounter, and they left. Well, today, when I was there, I thought about that story, and I thought I would tell it to you. But this area, these woods, are full of Bigfoot stories. There's a lot of people that have seen Bigfoot, but they don't talk about it because, like most people, they want to keep their job. So, it's a sensitive subject around here in these parts. But these woods do hold a lot of mystery. And so as I was standing there and just thinking about the graves, of course, I'm thinking, I shouldn't film this, and this isn't right. This is a sacred place. I was raised with a sense of reverence for holy places and sacred places, and it just wouldn't be right. It's not a tourist attraction, and it shouldn't be. it was a place where deep sorrow was buried with those children. And but yeah, it still is there today. And I hope you enjoyed that story. So thank you for watching, and thank you for enjoying the Dirt Diaries and coming along with me on all my trips. And I hope to see you out here sometime. You know that you'll always be welcome at my campfire. So, final thoughts on my Nightcat pop-up tent. This is a new tent, and first time I've had it out. So, I'm very loyal to Nightcat. It's a budget company. They offer budget gear at a just fantastic quality. This and all of their tents are 3,000 millimeter to 8,000 millimeter waterproof. Mine have resisted winds up to 35 miles per hour, and last night was no exception. I'm getting ready to knock it down, but and go home. So I just wanted to give you the pros and cons of this tent. There's very few cons, but one of them that I really don't like, one thing I really don't like, is on the vestibule porch, it's got a little tarp that's separate, and it has a raised edge all the way around it. Now, to me, that's a trip hazard. I did trip over it. Next time, I'm just going to use a flat, regular tarp for a floor for the vestibule. It also has a little porch with a little shade canopy. It doesn't come with the poles, and they trust you to do what's right for you. And next time, I'm just going to use regular tarp poles. The trekking poles that I have just didn't work for me. It might work for you, though. So anyway, I'm going to use tarp poles and a regular tarp for the porch. It's very roomy inside. This is a 2 to 3 person tent. So my cot fit perfectly along the back wall. So it had a couple inches to spare on each end. So it didn't stress the walls of the tent. So I'm very happy with that. There was plenty of room from all my other gear, a side table, which I love. I love having a nightstand in my tent. And yeah, it was very comfortable. Absolutely. It was a little difficult for me to put up by myself simply because I've never used a pop-up tent before, so it took me a little bit to figure out the best way to do it. And I'm by myself, and it's pretty tall. So anyway, I'll figure it out, and yeah, I'll get better at it. But absolutely love Nightcat. Thanks, Nightcat, for another great trip. I look forward to many more with this tent. I still have my other 2 tents, and they have held up very well over a 7-year period, so they're still waterproof and windproof. Highly recommend Nightcat tents if you're looking for a budget tent. This one was $75. Yeah, you can't beat it. For the money, you just can't beat it, especially not with that waterproof rating, and they really are waterproof. I can testify to that personally. So, I'm getting ready to go home. I wish you many happy trails. I hope to see you by my campfire someday.